Hello, today is February 1st and we are having a big snowstorm outside.
Well, I think it's like kind of over almost right now. Okay.
Well,
We've
it was
got
supposed
snow.
to
We
snow
still got a
all
lot of
day.
snow.
Every time we go out and clean the driveway, the plow comes through and puts this wet, icky, very heavy mush right back in the driveway and we got to go out and clean it again.
That's what plows are supposed to do.
Yeah, they make a mess
Fill up
on
your
the
driveway again after you've cleared it.
So, the stories you should have taken note of this week. We have Amazon, and apparently their union is doing some voting. I don't know what for, but they're doing mail-in voting. And Amazon says that's unfair because there could be fraud and
They don't
there
want
could be
mail-in
things.
ballots, is what it
So
was.
Amazon does not want mail-in ballots because it's not fair.
Could be fraud.
What have people been saying for months with that? The For the People Act, or H.R. 1, is passing in the House of Representatives, and this has to do with voting. The federal government wants to take over all the voting for federal offices, and they want it to be all mail-in ballots. Let's refer back to Amazon 2 seconds ago. They also want 16-year-olds to vote. What do you think about 16-year-olds voting?
I think it should be 14-year-old.
Why not go down to 5? I mean, what is
No,
the
not
point?
no,
What
five
is the
would be
point?
5 would be a little bit too far.
I think you shouldn't vote until you're 25 when your brain is mature, but if you're in the armed services at 18, you get to vote.
Actually, age should not be a barrier. We shouldn't discriminate against age. Age is just a number.
The other thing this For the People Act says is that you would be forbidden from asking for ID. If somebody shows up to vote, you think maybe they voted once before, or you think they're from a different district, not allowed to ask them for any kind of ID. However, they can provide a sworn statement signed under penalty of perjury attesting that they are eligible to vote. Because if they were going to vote illegally, that's fine. But, a criminal is not going to want to sign his name under penalty of perjury. That's so ridiculous.
We wouldn't want to lie.
So ridiculous. So now we're moving on to the Keystone pipeline, which, as you know, was canceled. And I think the last estimate is 11,000 jobs.
Yeah,
lost.
About 11,000. Yeah.
So John Kerry says, oh, well, they can just make solar panels. Like, all these solar panel jobs are out there. By the way, I looked up how to make solar panels, and apparently a byproduct of making a solar panel is silicon tetrachloride, which kills plants and animals. There's several toxic chemicals that go into making solar panels. It's not like they're environmentally friendly when they're being made or when they're being disposed of. So just go make solar panels. Make solar panels.
The other thing is so much petroleum-powered machinery, even the production of the electricity and everything that would be used to make the panels, and the pollution that's emitted by making them is far greater than anything that would have been done by the pipeline.
And meantime, John Kerry jetting around in his personal little jet. Now we're on to one of our favorite subjects, masks. Dr. Fauci, and the World Health Organization and the Surgeon General, back in March, all of them said masks don't work. That you shouldn't be wearing the mask. You can if you want to, but there's a lot of unintended consequences because you're always adjusting it, and so your hands are by your face, and you can infect yourself that way. Now, all this changed between March and June. Apparently, science turned upside down in those 3 months because in June we were told everybody has to wear a mask, and this is the reason Fauci gave. Fauci, okay. This is a quote. The reason for that is that when somebody asked him, why were we told 3 months ago not to wear a mask and now we are? The reason for that is that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including N95 masks and surgical masks, were in very short supply. And we wanted to be sure that the people, mainly healthcare workers, we did not want them to be without the equipment they needed. He came right out and said, well, we just out and out lied to you. We told you you didn't need masks, you shouldn't have masks, but really they were lying so that the masks would go to the healthcare workers. Just came out like it was nothing, like, oh yeah, we lied to you, no big deal. Now, of course, and by the way, that is from Don't Run Walk Productions video, who put together the two short little clips for us.
Okay.
But now we're being told double mask, triple mask, because a double mask,
Five on.
yeah,
Five masks.
a double mask ups your protection to 75%.
3 masks.
Now, but wait, we were told masks are this cure-all. Wear a mask and you're safe. Somebody else wears a mask, you're safe. Now, all of a sudden, it's way less than 75% if you only have one mask on. So you're still infected. In fact, there was a study, and I do not have the study name. So many people who were getting the virus said they wore masks all the time.
Is this the part that you showed me when you were looking on there? Somebody had the questions like, if I wear a mask, will I be protected from COVID? And the answer was
that,
no.
Right.
And
this was an article on LifeSite News, great website. Please go check them out. And somebody from Ireland had sent this to a friend. I think that's how it went. But there were 14 questions. I don't remember them all. But there were 14 questions, and there was the government response. Will the vaccine protect me from the virus?
oh, okay, it was the
Well,
vaccine.
we don't know. If I get the vaccine, does that mean I don't have to wear a mask? No. If I get the vaccine, does that mean we can open up the stores? No. If I get the vaccine, can I go in crowds? No. If I get the vaccine and my grandfather gets the vaccine, can we hug each other? No. And on and on it went.
Yeah, I'm
So
sorry,
it's like,
I mixed
what
it up.
does
I thought that was, but it was for the vaccine.
It was
not
for the
ma-
vaccine.
not masks. Okay.
It was for the vaccine.
But still, very
And
interesting.
now that the vaccine is out, all of a sudden there's all these different strands. You know, we're getting all different types of mutations and viruses and stuff like that.
Well, you know, and also there's very little coverage in the fact of the only thing now, because of the vaccine and everything out
Right.
there, they're saying that Trump didn't do good enough a job distributing it, but at the same time, they're not putting out there every day. Oh, 50,000 or 100,000 people died because of COVID. It seems as though less and less people are getting the COVID or dying from COVID
Yeah.
now that Biden's in office, and the only thing they're going to be
Well,
talking about is his impeachment.
That's because last week we went over the new criteria for telling whether or not you have the COVID-19, China virus, Wuhan virus, whatever you want to call it, is that now you have to test positive twice and you have to have symptoms. So the number of people, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying China virus because apparently
It's not the China. It is the bubonic Biden plague. That's what it is.
Alrighty,
It's now the Biden plague. It's not the China virus. It's not the Chinese aren't even responsible. It's Biden. You know, that's the other thing. We got
What's
this
that?
bad weather storm,
right?
right? The big nor'eater.
Yeah.
75 million people exposed. It's Biden's fault. You know why? Because when he, just before he came into office, what did he say? We're going to have a long, dark winter.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He brought us this long, dark winter. It's his fault. Blame Biden. Impeach
Which-
Biden now.
Leads us to climate change. And here's my little spiel on that. I'm old enough
That's
to
the weather.
remember that back in the 70s, the temperature went down a fraction of a degree. And we were told we were headed for an ice age. And in 10 years, we were going to have to live under domes, and all our food was going to have to be grown in hot houses, and the only thing that's going to save the planet, all the scientists agreed, is to let politicians decide every little thing in our life and rule us completely. And 10 years came and went, and what happened? Nothing. Then we came into the 80s, and the temperature that had gone down a fraction of a degree went up a fraction of a degree. Global warming. So now, 10 years from now, all the ice caps are going to melt. All the coastal cities are going to be underwater. It's going to be horrible. The whole country is going to turn into a desert, and the only thing that's going to save us is to let politicians rule every little aspect of your life. And all the scientists agreed. And 10 years came and went, and what happened? Nothing. So now, global cooling has not worked, global warming has not worked. So now they call it climate change, because no matter what happens, the climate is going to change.
It's called weather.
Yes,
Weather.
yes. And that brings us to the 97% of scientists agree. That's based on a study by, if I remember his name right, Jonathan Cook from Australia, who took a whole bunch of weather-related papers and divided them into two piles. One pile said, weather is just weather. It changes. And there are going to be things that affect weather, like volcanoes going off, sunspots, whatever else. The other pile said, yeah, maybe, possibly, could be that people have some kind of effect on the weather. And of that pile, 97% of the paper said man could be somewhat part of the change. But that pile was only 33% of all the papers. So 97% of 33% of them, maybe 32% if you round up, 32% of these papers, and I'm not even sure they were all scientists, said people might have some role to play in the weather. That, which would mean that 87% of the papers said, no, weather is just weather. And so they want to put in all these...
Come on, woman. Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
That's
Come
not
on,
much
man.
of a... No, come on, woman. It's come on, woman. Here's the thing.
What is the thing?
Okay. You know, you get into all these factors and everything like that. It's just, you know, going over years and years and years, and there's no real denying that emissions and things like that would have an effect. I'm not even going to argue that. Okay. But the biggest problem is that now Biden's putting this back into the Paris Accord. Okay.
Yeah.
So the problem is if they, and I don't even have anything against China doing business with us, but like what Trump did basically at the time was put us on an even accord. In other words, the reason that China can produce things and sell things at a lower price is because they essentially have slave labor.
Yeah.
And they also get all kinds of benefits and perks for selling back to the country. So their production can end up producing it at a lower cost and also sell to us at a lower cost. But look at the standard of living and everything that those people there. Now you can still
And
get a
they're under
lot.
communist regime
Yeah,
as
well,
well.
you can get a lot of things made in the USA if you look. Now, I'm not opposed to buying Chinese. I'm not opposed to bringing those things in, but I would be opposed to the fact of how these things are on it. Now, that goes back into the Accord. Because even when they were saying, even with Trump pulled out of the Paris Accord, our emission rates went down more than any other country in the world.
That's right.
Now, by signing back up on this, you're going to put the companies and everything back on these ridiculous emission regulations, which are far and above what they need to be, because even without
But
it,
China gets passed.
China gets a pass,
And
India gets a pass. Now that's the thing. Oh, well, they get a pass because China's a developing country. Look, if you're polluting, you're polluting.
Their
Okay?
civilization is what, 3,000 years old?
Well,
And this country is 400?
even if you are a developing country, if you've got this kind of industry that's causing
Yeah.
pollution, to sit there, oh well, it's okay because they're developing. Why is it okay because they're developing? Why shouldn't they use
Right.
less invasive type of things? But they don't have to. India's not quite as bad, but India has some bad things, and I guess you could say India is maybe a developing country in that regard. But I don't know that they get as much of a pass as China. But the thing is a lot of these other places are supposedly developing countries, and then all our money and all our taxes. And I know that that's not related there, but he's look. I'm for accepting people in this country. I'm for giving people earning their citizenship and getting an entry into the country, but you go through the process.
I agree.
Now, you have people who have been trying to go through the process, and now he's trying to get it passed.
And how is it fair to them who have been doing everything right, waiting years, and now people are going to walk across the border and jump the line? What about all the equity that he's talking about?
But immediately, these people are going to be given the right to vote. They're going to be given the right to Social Security. They're going to be given, even without ever working, cost of living expenses, like an unemployment or welfare. And in the meantime, he's caused 11,000 workers to do that, lose their jobs. Now, 11,000 workers may not be 11 million, but think about that. 11 people overnight becoming 11 million becoming U.S. citizens overnight. That's fine and dandy, I guess. But now you're automatically making them eligible for Social Security and Social Security disability and welfare. And we have to give them medical
and for any working person, those are your
anybody
taxes.
else that's been here in the United States can't get any of that. Now, I'm not saying we
years
should.
Ago, people coming from Europe, there may have been churches and other charitable organizations to help them when they first came, but you came, you had to work.
Anyway, that's the thing.
All right.
That's the thing.
That's the thing,
woman.
Okay.
Woman. Wait, we're gonna go on to there.
Okay.
Because that's what everybody sit there. They want all the hype about Kamala Harris, right? Kamala Harris, the first woman president. Well,
Vice president,
right? The first woman vice president.
But
Well, you shouldn't be able to do that because according to Pelosi and others,
no more gender.
you shouldn't have gender-specific characterizations. So how can you refer to her as a woman when it is now illegal to do so?
On the Congress floor, yeah.
Well,
And
she's going to be in Congress.
Even
What do they say, Madam President or not in the Senate? Because she's the president.
I'm guessing. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Because from now on it's going to be congressperson, not congressman, congresswoman.
Yeah, but you say Madam President or you say Mr.
Madam
Speaker.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Or Speaker.
I don't know what they're going to do in that case.
In that case, she's the president.
However, there have been women presidents all over the world for decades, prime ministers. This is not like it's shattering news. It's been there, done that type of thing. Okay, one of Biden's executive orders talks all about racial equity. Not equal opportunity, but equity. And does not explain what that means, only that all of the departments are going to be equitable. So I'd be interested to see what's going to happen with that. Last little thing. This is an article I saw by Father Martin, how Catholic leaders helped give rise to violence in the U.S. Capitol. And he's really kind of saying that this year a lot of priests decided to call out abortion and racism and communism and say, look, you really shouldn't be voting for those things. And Father Martin is saying priests should not be involved in politics. Well, yeah, They should. They should be calling out evil wherever they see it. And one of the problems is, I think, while many, many priests will emphasize how much Jesus loves us and is merciful, which is absolutely true and what we should hear all the time, I kind of skip over there's evil in the world, and we're supposed to be standing up against it. And that has nothing to do with the people who got into the Capitol. If they broke in, they broke windows, they're criminals, they should be arrested and charged. We don't hear anybody from the left talking about the Antifa people who burned down most of Portland, and weren't they in Seattle?
Oh, they're at the courthouse.
Yeah, what did Nancy Pelosi will say? People do what they do.
Yeah. Let's go get some ice cream.
We don't. Oh, well, you got peanut butter ice cream.
No.
Oh, her ice cream, right, in her $30,000 refrigerator.
What was it? $35?
Yes.
$35?
The $14 a pint.
Oh, $14.
$14 a pint ice cream in her $30,000 refrigerator while people were trying to put food on the table for their children.
Let them eat cake.
They're so out of touch.
Yeah.
They're so out of touch.
Fair.
But anyway, so those are the stories that you should...
But on your note, as far as the religion goes, I don't really...
and this goes for all religions.
But I don't really
religious
look
leaders
at...
should be calling this out.
I don't... Yeah, but see, that's the thing, what I'm saying. Here's the thing.
There's the thing again, okay.
Okay. I don't view that as political involvement or intervention on the behalf of the religion. What they're doing is looking at for the followers and individual civilians. They're not saying that it should be a political thing. What they're saying is this is an aspect a free individual should be entitled to, which has absolutely nothing to do with politics. Okay, it's your free choice.
Everybody has the First Amendment. Well, till the left gets involved. But if there is a charitable organization, they're not supposed to back one candidate over another because you could lose your tax-free exemption. But to say you should not be voting for a candidate that supports human sacrifice, that's fine, because you're not talking about a specific person, you're talking about a stance or a policy.
She's talking about the A word.
The A word.
The A word.
Abortion.
Yeah.
I know the left likes to hide behind phrases like women's reproductive rights, women's health, and make it sound like it's this benign thing.
Well,
call it what it is. Human sacrifice.
Mr. Biden, and I use that word loosely, is the N word.
The N word? What is that?
He's a narcissist.
I think a lot of politicians are.
He's a narcissist.
I think a lot of
That's the
politicians
new N word. The new N word.
I think, and I feel bad for him in a way. I think the poor man really doesn't know everything that's going on.
Where do I sign?
Yeah, I think he's just signing whatever is put in front of him. And,
where do I sign? Oh, Kamala, is this the right thing? Am I supposed to say yes to this, Kamala?
So anyway, those were the stories that you should have taken note of this week. If you didn't get time to watch the news, those are some of the highlights that stuck out to me. I hope you have a good week.
And as we end, I just want to remind this lovely, lovely woman that is my wife that I am the man.
You are the man. You are the man. Have a good week.